to present some awards here for some people who brainstormed that there could be a part of an art show that represented a young, new, maybe emerging art movement, if you will. And this art movement was traced back mostly to this one guy here, Robert Williams. And who started with maybe a book called The Lowbrow Art of Robert Williams. And he didn't want to really start out at the top, so it was maybe self-effacing and humble. But I would say the art world's changed on that. And before I get more into Robert Williams, we have some other awards that or acknowledgements that we want to come first. We're going to give Dealer of Merit Award, the first one ever from Littletopia, the LA Art Show, to Andrew Hosner of ThinkSpace. And what he gets is a Jeff Gillette custom piece of art, one of a kind, never to be duplicated this fashion, and right in front of Jeff Gillette's fabulous Littletopia archway.
Thanks, Greg. Greg's been my inspiration and mentor for, I guess, ever since I decided to start doing this crazy thing. And this is pretty awesome. I wasn't expecting this. Thank you, and enjoy Littletopia, everybody.
So we have a Collector of Merit Award this year, and this guy is standing right beside me. His name is Sheldon Donnet, and he is a great example of what I would call, juxtaposium, lowbrow, pop surrealist, whatever you want to call it, feral art movement collector. So for that, we're going to give Sheldon this award. If you want to say?
Thank you. I think some people don't see in collecting is if you make a point of meeting the artists and actually creating a connection with the people who run the galleries, you meet really, really, really cool people. So it's not a matter of getting something for your wall or speculating in the art world. It's the whole social thing of meeting really cool people and things like that. Anything that I get is till death do us part. So it doesn't make a difference what it does. And I could say that I have never met an artist that wasn't enjoyable. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to our grand acknowledgement, because without the guy who had the idea, none of this would be happening. So, without further ado,
well, first of all, this is such an enormous honor. It's an honor to the point that I'm probably herniating with gratitude. I have to point out one thing, though. I've been in LA for 55 years in the arts, and when you walk through here, or you walk through even a regular academic museum, there has been such an enormous change in art that young people don't seem to understand. 40 or 50 years ago, the art world was completely dominated with abstract expressionism and maybe a little pop art. And realism was considered kind of a pathetic situation for people that should really have been illustrators. And it's taken a lot of effort on a number of people's parts to bring the art world back to the point that representational art not only has a place, but it's enormously valid. And if you walk around here, you'll notice that more than half, or 5/8 of the artwork in here is in some form of three-dimensional representation. And that did not come easy. That did not come easy. There's a lot of social change and whatnot. After abstract expressionism came and pop art came in, and you think, well, pop art was realism. Well, yeah, kinda, but pop art depended on appropriation. Then came along conceptualism and minimalism, and it was a point of pride with a large amount of artists that they couldn't draw. It took a great deal of pride in having nothing to do with skill and draftsmanship. And with that, another point that kind of slid in the mud was imagination. And So me coming up through underground comics and whatnot in the hot rod world, and having friends in the surfer world and the psychedelic poster world and whatnot, and biker world and the tattoo world, it naturally, spontaneously formed, especially the West Coast. And it started really growing about 20 or 25 years ago, and it got its real roots with Juxtaposed magazine. And with Juxtaposed magazine, then it started challenging the serious museums. First it had trouble getting in the art schools, and then that was won over. Juxtaposed was considered 20 years ago to be just kind of a pathetic thing, and now it's wormed its way up to the top-selling art magazine in the world, and it has to be respected. It's respected in Europe and Japan and all over the United States, and people are having to come to grips with the fact that there has to be a much more open-minded world about art now, that all these other academic forms of art will have to coexist, and representational art is on its way to gaining a good foothold, you know. So I don't know, was it Einstein said point A to point B is a form of success. It'll get you to success, but imagination will get you everywhere. And another factor is that representational art has to live in a world that isn't depending on being an interior decorating item. You know, art should be thought and not just an adjunct to architecture. You know, and this Picasso said it perfectly. I don't decorate people's apartments. You know, so. Anyway, I'm a lone figure standing up here, grateful to get my beautiful sculpture here, my trophy, and so I'll relieve you people. Thank you.
Everyone's invited to come to Chinatown, as there's a Robert Williams Lifetime Achievement after party in Chungking Road in front of the galleries there.